just taking it all the way down the road, I'd like if our speakers could address their own, what is the most positive experience for them as far as how do they introduce this to the community, how they introduce this to the schools, where do they keep their enthusiasm going? And also just to discuss if you have an example of any kind of obstacle that you've overcome in making your district and making your community not just accepting but promoting of bilingual education. So if we could start with, Shelley? Sure. Shelley Coleman. And if you could just give you a very brief introduction.
Shelley Coleman-Speigel. I'm the Executive Director of Californians Together, and we are, you have a pamphlet here. We are a statewide coalition of 23 statewide organizations. We come together to promote policy and practice for educating English learners. You want to see what the organizations are? Just open the brochure.
The brochure's inside?
Pardon?
Is the brochure inside?
The brochure's inside, yeah. It's inside. So, let me just say, we as Californians Together always, every year, come up with 5 or 6 key issues that we think districts and schools are facing in terms of educating English learners. And then what we do is develop an action plan around those. And members of the member organizations work together as a coalition to try and change policy or improve policy. Always, always, one of the 5 is how do we reframe the conversation around educating English learners from looking at language as a problem instead of as an asset. And so 2 years ago, well actually 5 years ago, we looked at what Glendale Unified School District was doing in the area. They have what they call the Bilingual Competency Award for their graduating seniors. And they've had it for 18 years. They award seniors who can prove proficiency in English and another language recognition upon graduation. And they do it in Korean, in Tagalog, in Spanish, in Armenian, and Russian, and Arabic, and they're adding on Japanese, as I understand it. And so we looked at this, and 2 other districts, or 3 other districts had started emulating them about 4 or 5 years ago. We said to ourselves, okay, we're going to create the California State Seal by literacy. And we thought that that would change across the state the whole perspective on what we think and how we ought to honor the talents and gifts that our students have when they graduate versus bemoaning their enrollment at our schools, right? So we had the bill passed through the whole legislature twice. Twice we got it to Arnold's desk, and twice he vetoed it. But of course we were not done. So what we decided was that we would build a grassroots campaign. We had garnered a lot of support by moving those bills through. And we decided that we would organize a grassroots campaign and work with districts across the state for them to adopt the seal of biliteracy. And we had put out our goal of having 50 school districts with formal seal of biliteracy policies to recognize thousands and thousands of students in June for their bilingualism and their achievements. And so what you have here is the booklet that we created that we use in the training. And district teams they come to us for a half a day. And how to proceed in your district is in here step by step, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I was going to show you some of them, but we're short on time, but it's in here. And we, in addition, because we want to look at this whole issue of promoting bilingualism and putting it in a very positive light, we said, well, there are some districts that are only K districts, and then there are some programs that are just beginning and they're only K3 or they're only K5. And so we said, well, okay, the seal will be for the graduating seniors, but we created pathway awards from preschool to elementary to middle school, and we have different kinds of pathway awards depending upon whether you attain bilingualism or you're participating in a program and you get recognition for being in a program for bilingualism. So in the booklet, there'll be a description of pathway awards as well as the seal for biliteracy. And so just what I want to tell you is we now have 46 school districts, local education entities across the state that have formally, and actually your list is not complete because Tuesday night San Diego Unified just voted theirs in, and I was out of town Wednesday through Friday, just came from the airport to be here. But anyway, so it's now 46. My understanding is that Culver City is considering this, and we would love for them to be the 47th district, right? But
Shelley, I'm gonna stop you there so we can keep with the
Yes.
time and
Okay.
pass along to Jay.
So
Thank you.
that's
That
what
sounds
you
like a fantastic idea. I'm really excited about that. So
there you go.
we'll be able to
So
pursue
that's where you have, and you have a lot of the publicity information here. Right?
Thank you. So Jay, if you could just introduce yourself briefly
Sure.
and tell us why you are excited about bilingualism and if there's a specific issue that you've overcome in terms of making it friendly to the district and the community.
Certainly. Well, my name is Jay Chen. I'm the president of the board of Hacienda-La Puente Unified School District out in San Gabriel Valley. It's the school district that I grew up in. And I'm excited about bilingualism because I'm trilingual. Hablo español, and I think that's one of the reasons why I am on the school board, because my community is predominantly Chinese and Hispanic. And our school district has had a very long history with languages. I was just learning from the two individuals next to me about our efforts with bilingual education, how Hacienda-La Puente was at the forefront at one point, but because of politics, we had to disband it. We were one of the first school districts to offer Chinese in the high school level. And recently we created a dual language immersion program for Mandarin at one of our elementary schools. And more recently we created a Chinese language program at one of our middle schools. And the whole point is to kind of bridge things together. We created the high school program first, and then we created the elementary school program and the middle school, so that it's continuous. So students will have an opportunity to continue their education throughout. And how do you promote this? Personally, I enjoy speaking to students and surprising them, by speaking in different languages and telling them about the opportunities that I've had as a relatively young board member because of my language opportunities. We also do a lot of partnerships with other schools. We have schools from Taiwan and China come visit us, and we host them, and it gives students an opportunity to put their languages to use and to see the good in learning these languages. And we send a lot of students abroad to China and to other countries so that they can put their language to use. Now, in terms of obstacles, we have actually encountered some obstacles. And a lot of it has to do with local politics as well. It's not entirely related to education. So unfortunately, in this case, language access was kind of used as a bludgeoning tool to pursue other purposes. But it's a very complicated thing, and I can go into it offline. But basically, there are people who said because our middle school program is partially funded or supported by China's Ministry of Education through Hanban, they said we were teaching communism. And I mean, they were dead serious about this.
I'm sure it wasn't funny. I'm sorry to be laughing, but
it wasn't funny, although the Daily Show made it pretty funny. The Daily Show came and covered it. It's been on CNN, it's been on BBC, it's been all over the news. And our method of fighting it was basically to create awareness and to let people know that this kind of, there's no other way to put it, bigotry and ignorance, it still exists, and you have to call it for what it is. And we rallied a lot of current students, former students to come and speak on our behalf. We've gotten people from respected organizations like MABA, Mexican American Bar Association, and the Asian Pacific American Legal Consortium, Legal Center, to come and write letters and to support us. And we put it online, and we let people know what was happening so that we could build support, and that the people who came and protested against us knew that they were in the minority. Because very often, the normal people don't have time to go to the school board meetings. They don't have time to come and express their opinions. And you have to push them. You have to push them to do it, because sometimes the people who are more out there, the extremists, they will find the time to come to a school board meeting and attack you, and they will be the only ones there, and they are the ones who the media will pick up on. So our local newspaper pretty much only covered their side of the story. So we had to make a concerted effort, a campaign even, to make sure that the other side was covered.
Sounds like a really successful campaign. Again, once you're on the Daily Show, you've got some eyeballs there going. So congratulations on outing the bigots, and good luck with continuing on with the program. That sounds great. So we're going to pass it on down to Carmen. And if you can tell, sorry, Anna. I'm in the wrong order here. So Anna, if you introduce yourself, just briefly let us know what your enthusiasm and your passion is for bilingual education or immersion education, and tell us about some specific issue that